Are you a painting company and you're wondering if you should do virtual estimates or if you should continue doing virtual estimates? I just want to break down a couple quick pros and cons to virtual estimates and help try and come up with some potential tools that might allow you to do virtual estimates more efficiently. So if that's of interest, stick around and we'll dive into that topic. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Chris. I'm the owner of Boolean Automation, where we specialize in working with home service companies, in particular painting companies. I've built out many automations. I have an entire course on how someone in your business can take all the knowledge that I've learned in implementing automation for over 8 different businesses and apply that to your business to streamline operations, eliminate hundreds of hours of busy work every month, and continually do that month after month after month. But if you're interested in learning more about our business, you can schedule a free consultation down in the links below. I'll put my calendar down there. Also, we have a Boolean review software that has the highest converting rate of any reputation management system in this space. I can't talk right now. I don't know if you've realized that, but the Boolean review system is a great tool for painting companies to use. So you can check that out as well. Let's get into this topic about virtual estimates and things to consider. So a couple pros. First thing, safety and health, especially during the pandemic or for the elderly population. Virtual estimates can be really appealing because they can minimize the amount of contact that they're having with other people. So that could be one reason or an option that you might want to consider having virtual estimates available. Second reason would be efficiency. If I'm doing virtual estimates, I can have many appointments stacked up that are maybe 30 minutes long instead of hour and a half to 2 hour blocks an estimator would need to run an appointment for someone. And by the way, my whole setup, my camera setup, I did this very strategically. I picked out the right webcam, lighting, LED lights, a great microphone. The presentation is everything in these virtual estimates. So don't think that you can just give someone a laptop and they can sit in a dark corner and have the same effectiveness as they can if they're sitting down in a professional environment like the one that I'm in, giving an estimate with a customer. Cost savings. Not only are they efficient, but it's a lot cheaper. You don't have to spend gas for, depending on some of the estimates. I know some companies that have virtual estimates a requirement for drive times longer than an hour. So it's just like anytime you've got an estimate that's on the outside of town, rather than saying we don't service that particular area, why don't you say, let's do a virtual estimate first and we'll have one of our estimators, send us a video and we can review that and decide if it makes sense for us to go out in person to verify that. You can also give ballparks before you drive an hour out. And that ties in with the broader reach, which is the other big benefit. If you offer virtual estimates, you can expand the service area that you're willing to work in because you don't have to have your sales team driving all over town for those estimates. Still love in-person estimates, but sometimes it just makes sense to reach a large, depending on the metropolitan area or the city that you're in, virtual estimates might be huge cost savings and allow you to have much broader reach with your estimators. Another benefit is flexibility. Offering virtual estimates allows for an estimator to squeeze in a quick appointment at odd hours of the day where they might not be able to get there in person. As an estimator, if you've got somewhere to be at 5 o'clock, you might be able to squeeze a 4:15 virtual estimate in on your calendar where you wouldn't be able to go drive all the way out there. So one thing that I've seen that I really like is if customers are having a hard time finding a time that fits, you could have virtual estimates as an available option during certain times of the day. Now into the cons, reasons that the things that you have to be aware of to work, to try and make these work for you. Obviously, depending on what you're using for the virtual estimate, if you're just having customers send in information on an iPhone, that can work, but you might not be getting a holistic view or actually see that the paint is a lot worse than it looked in the video. But again, as long as you set the expectation that this is a virtual estimate, we're going to have to confirm it in person when we get out there. I think that people are understanding that you're not going to be able to get all of it, but you could at least give me a general idea of this. The other big thing that is a con that you have to be prepared for is technical challenges. So going to be stereotypical here, but the older generation that you might be working with is not going to be able to utilize phones as well as the younger millennial generation will be able to. You're more likely to run into issues with an elderly person trying to figure out how to pull up a video chat or record a video and send it to you on their phone. So that's another thing that I'm going to suggest. There's a tool called Groundwork that works amazingly well. I have no affiliation with Groundwork. I have met the founder and this couple sales reps from Groundwork at industry conferences. They have a very streamlined tool to run estimates smoothly. Another virtual tool that I like a lot is called Stream, Streem. Stream is another tool that has some really cool virtual video, very, very simple to use tools. But those two options are very easy tools for virtual estimates that allow for documenting, recording, so it's all saved in the cloud. Obviously, you can do like a FaceTime call or a Zoom call if you want to, but those are less user friendly than these tools that were designed to be used by like the mass consumer. Another big con with virtual estimates is the fact that it's very impersonal. So if you are going to use a virtual estimate tool, I would make sure that you use something that allows for your estimator to have a conversation just like this. A lot of times, the best way that I like to have virtual estimates run is the client sends over a video of their project to you before the estimator reviews that, generates the estimate for the customer, and then the conversation with the customer is just a back and forth conversation like a Zoom call. And that goes back to what I said earlier. You've got to focus on the presentation. When you show up to someone's house, you're going to be wearing like professional clothes. You probably have branded logo and uniform. As you can see in my office, the light in the back of my office, the fuse went out. So that'll be fixed in future videos. But I have Boolean, I have things that make me look professional, make it look like I do this often. I would definitely not recommend just giving your estimator a laptop and telling him to go have at it and good luck with the estimates. They're not going to close as well because they don't look professional like they do when they show up in person. So a lot of reasons that I've seen people not have success with virtual estimates is because they don't take the time to buy the right mic like this guy, buy the right camera, get some lighting off of Amazon to make that possible. In fact, people have asked me about my podcasting setup. I'll include the link to the video camera that I use, the mic that I'm using, the lights that I'm using. It's not that hard to take a little bit of time to make the appearance of your estimator just go through the roof. Another potential issue is just connectivity. You could have someone that is very tech savvy, but their connection is not that great. Or if you haven't tested this out with your own estimators, maybe your internet in your office is spotty and they're in the wrong place and they need to get a hard line into the computer. But you have to test these things out in advance to make sure that it's going to work for you. But that's another thing to be prepared for. The last one, and I think this is the best feedback that I got from someone. This was a client of mine that used the Groundwork software that I mentioned a moment ago. And they said they knew that their ideal customer was the older, like 50 plus crowd. Those are the homeowners that have money. They're not trying to like save a buck and do it themselves. They want to get a good, reputable company that's going to come out and deliver on the project and the promise that they hired the person for. And they also knew that that older generation stereotypically was not the best for using technology. Not only that, but they generally were less inclined to have the virtual estimate. So one thing that I think is interesting is that the younger generation, the millennial crowd, is more inclined to use technology. They're going to be more savvy with virtual estimates. They might even want virtual estimates more, but something that you have to consider in your business is that younger tech savvy person your ideal customer? If those aren't your ideal customer, then you might want to not do virtual estimates at all because you want to go to the person's house that wants an estimator to come out and meet with them. On the flip side of that argument, I could argue in the exact same way that there are a lot of young tech savvy homeowners that just want things to be fast and efficient, and they probably have a lot of money and they'd be interested in having you come out. But it all comes down to you can't apply the same sales process that you did in your in-home sales presentation to a virtual estimate. You're going to have to revamp things. Maybe have a slideshow that you're going through on your computer. You share your screen. You're asking for content beforehand. The contract might look different. That's like, we need to verify all this information in person when we get out to your house. But all those things are overcomable. I just think you have to decide, are you going to jump into this? And like I've said in other videos, you've got to experiment. If this is something that you're considering, try it out, see if there's an opportunity to make this work. And then lastly, there are so many things that you can automate when it comes to virtual estimates. If you want help or you want ideas on what could you automate with a virtual estimate, you can automatically generate links. You can send text messages with links to log in to people. You can send follow-up requests. I've built out an entire course to help painting companies learn how to implement no code. It's a course that someone in your office that's a process-minded individual can watch, and in 3 months, they can implement all the strategies that we implement for people on their own. So if that's of interest, you can click the link down below to get more information on that. You can also check out the Boolean review software if you need more Google reviews. But anything else I can do, drop them in the comments down below. Happy to pick up the conversation there. Again, my name is Chris from Boolean Automation, where we free you up to do what you love.